are here, spitting with Spitter, bonus clip,
Bonus.
bonus with the legend Cap C in the building.
Oh
How
man.
you, Cap? Good morning, good afternoon,
Good
whatever.
afternoon, whatever it is.
Um, yeah,
You like you're still in the morning. I'm
yeah,
like,
I'm still something. Facts.
I've been up since 5 a.m. already, just doing things around the house. I'm
No,
like,
no, no.
dude, for real, man. I can't sleep more than 5 or 6 hours straight. I can't sleep anything more. I do take naps, so and
Mhm.
that's pretty healthy. Actually, it's healthy for you to take a nap in between. But
That sounds like a good idea. I'm about to do that shit when we done.
yeah, but yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, it's like if I fall asleep at 8 o'clock in the morning and at night, I'm already
Hmm.
up by like 3 in the morning. Like it's nothing, and it's crazy. It sucks for me. Like I make sure that I pass out around like 11 or midnight, so at least I wake
Hmm.
up at 5 or 6 in the morning. But
Word.
it's crazy. So
So we wanted to not necessarily continue the conversation we were having the other day,
yeah.
but I wanted to talk about this new show we got coming.
I'm cool with that, definitely. So everybody out there, you know what I'm saying, who's tuning in right now, we in our conversation basically came up how people and I mean, obviously people approach Spitter about rhyming and stuff and whatever, and they want to hear, they're always asking them to hear, their skills and shit. And then me on the same point, people know my past, people know what I've done, people know that I know people. And I always get requests also from a lot of different people asking me, listen to, can you listen to me? Can you critique me? Let me know what's up. So I kind of said, you know what? Why don't we do it into a show? Like it
Yeah,
should actually be a show where we'll put you on the spot. And it doesn't have to be MCing either. I think we should, really cover formats of anything. I mean, even if
I
you're
want to cover everything.
yeah. So I mean, if you're a singer, you're what I mean, if you're a singer, you're a, or an MC or even like, and we're not going to discriminate, whatever. I mean, even if you're a trap rapper, whatever. But as long as it's all about like we should do that because as
Yeah,
long
fact.
as because we should actually critique people and be like, yo, this is what you should do, or you're on point. This is that's great, whatever, But
Right.
I mean, it's definitely about making sure that all these people, even with a trap ever, like I said, we talked about it on the show. We said, a lot of these people, regardless of what they're doing or how they're rhyming, I mean, as long as they put the energy and the performance into it, like you know what I mean, they're gonna come off straight. So it's just like I think it'd be dope just to see where everybody's at. Even
I
for
ha-
then.
I have a bunch of people have reached out to me already
Okay.
that want to not necessarily, but kind of want to be part and judge
Okay.
and judge. We
Which
got
is
some comment. We got some comments coming in. Sean Smith said, "TJ and Cap, happy Sunday to y'all. Happy Sunday, Sean."
happy Sunday, homie.
My brother Jason chiming in said, "Constructive criticism, nothing wrong with that."
Nothing wrong with it at all. And I think that's the thing that needs to be done because like I said, we need gatekeepers now.
Right?
And it's not about like we're gonna be on here and we're gonna say you garbage, you garbage. Not like, I think the
No,
biggest
but if
thing
you are,
I mean, well, if you are, we're gonna be straight up like, yo, I don't think this is the right move for you. Like, you know what I mean? But I think people need to get that we have to tell people that to either A, rethink what they're trying to do, or B, motivate themselves to do better. And I think that's
absolutely.
the whole thing. Remember, we said your worst critics are the people that are literally around you. Your circle's always gonna hype you up no matter what. You know what I mean?
True.
So you're
This
always gonna need some outside commentary to let you know like where you stand at in this music business stuff. And TJ's done his thing. I've certainly done my thing, and you know what I mean. And whoever else we bring on as judges, I definitely want to make sure it's people that are either musically inclined or have done things, in the industry and whatever. So people
Mhm.
that are stepping up to the plate are not, you know, kind of thinking like, oh, who are these guys? You know what I mean? Well, no, we've done this for years. You know what I mean? I mean, I've been in this since 92. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so it's kind of like, almost. I mean, shit. I was the youngest to win the 20-year veteran award for the Lehigh Valley Music Awards. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else, everybody that got that is like in their 50, 60s, 70s. I'm the only one in the, my. I think I got it when I was when I just turned 40. You know what I'm saying? It was like that's how long I've been doing this. So yeah,
Facts.
crazy.
And that one thing though, like I'm glad my brother Jason chimed in because he's one of those people back like when I was making music heavy, I would send to him like, listen to this. If it's hot, it's hot. If it's not, it's not. Tell me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you got to have people in your corner that are going to take you aside and be like, listen, that's not it, Chief.
yeah,
Work on your delivery or
yep,
work on your content. You know what I mean? Work on your cadences.
yep, yep.
You
Very true.
know?
Very true. I mean, you got to understand, like, even when I was MCing back in the day and coming up, like, you know, I had, I could say I had professors around me. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I had like, from the industry side. I mean, watching Wyclef on stage and Black Thought and all of that. I was backstage for many of these shows, and seeing them, do their craft and how they do it and perfect it. Um, just talking with them on one-on-ones, you know what I mean, about how it is, you know what I mean, what they do and how they perfected their joints, you know what I mean. I remember we used to hang out in the Booger basement, and you know, and you could ask A1 about this because he was there for this, but Jerry Wonder, he's basically Clef's right hand man, and anything that you hear that Clef made as a producer, Jerry Wonder was literally playing bass or some instrument on that song. And Jerry, everybody would compliment the hell out of him, but he would be like, "Man, I don't even want to hear that." You know what I mean? Like, I'm still a student. You know what I mean? Like, so regardless of how, where he was at that point, he was at his prime, and it was just like he
Right.
was still like, I'm a student, and that's what everybody needs to understand. So, regardless of where you're at, you never can think that you're the best. You always gotta excel and do something different, or get to where it's at. So, and I think a lot of
Absolutely.
these youngins coming up don't realize that. It's like, you got to understand your peers have done this, regardless if we haven't really gone anywhere with it, but we put in the work, you know what I mean? And we've seen the ups and downs. We've been criticized. We've done it all. We've gone
Hmm.
through that. So
I mean, like, I'm not saying this to brag on me, but I've got like three different bodies of work out there that cover a couple different sounds, and the response has been great. And everybody knows I rap. Like, this is secondary for me. This
yeah,
podcast thing, you know what I mean? So like, and I think that's why I get so many people asking my opinion. And I've had kids come up to me and ask me to executive produce their albums, and
yeah,
whether it's because of my ear or because of my knowledge, like it works. You know what I mean? And like you can't have five of your guys in the studio or in your bedroom rapping or wherever you're at, and just think those five guys and those five opinions are going to be what puts you to the next level because it's not.
no, no way. You gotta understand, people. You guys are lucky compared to what we went through. Like, we had demo tapes, and those demo tapes, and I saw with my own eyes. You know what I mean? Get thrown into a huge box filled with like a
With
hundred
demo
demo
tapes
tapes. And the whole thing is like, that's what we had to go through. You guys are lucky that you could easily put your music out there immediately
anywhere.
and
Yeah,
do what
you can
you
just
gotta do.
upload it to anything.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that's how it was for us. I mean, luckily, if one person heard what they liked, you know what I mean, then it was just like, oh shit. Um, I'll be real with you. One of the wildest things that ever happened for my crew was we put out a tape called The Reason. Me and A and Rec was our DJ, and what do you call it? I actually gave it to Talib Kweli, and you know how it is, man. You give a tape, you're like, yeah, they ain't gonna listen to that shit.
There it goes.
You kind of think that way. But I gave it to him, and then I would say about maybe a couple of months later, I was at Rocksteady in New York, and I was standing in line to get food, and Talib was in front of me. So I said, "Yo, what up, Talib?" Give him dap, and he looked right at me and he goes, "Stick figures, right?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Yo, your tape was dope. Your tape was dope." And I was like, "Wow, okay, that's what's up." You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I couldn't believe that he actually took the time to listen to our tape, but he did, and he gave us props, and that was pretty dope on my, just to hear that from him, come through from him. And I was like, wow, okay, that's what's up.
That's fire because realistically, it's like there's 1 in 420 spots to get on the NBA, right? To get on that roster. So like you know how you take one cassette tape and you throw it into a box with 100 other cassette tapes, you got a 1% chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what like when I'm out and about and kids come up to me, like, and this is before the era switch, because now it's listen to my link on SoundCloud or YouTube or whatever. But before, when they were handing out discs, right? Somebody would come up to me and it would be a blank disc with Sharpie written on it. And
Yep.
I would have to take them aside, fam. Listen, I'm gonna listen to this, but presentation is everything.
Yeah.
You're giving me a blank disc with no cover, with no illustration, with no
Yep.
track listing, and it's
Yep.
just written on there in Sharpie that's not professional.
Oh man, and I trust me, I had a ton of those. Either be it sent to me when I was doing Hip Hop 101 on LVR. Everybody just sending me whatever and stuff. But there is talent. There is talent out there, and I'm definitely, down to show those up and everything. What up, Ben? What
Ben,
up?
what's happening, my brother? How are you?
Ben actually put me on to a dude that we were doing. I think it was Shiz. Shiz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I actually did an interview. We did an interview on B104 with him, and when I was there on B104, and yeah, we hooked that all up and everything for Shiz. So Ben was a very integral. He was a very intricate part of that. When
Ben is definitely one of them guys that knows how to make things happen. You
good,
know what I mean? For lack of better terms.
yeah,
He's a mover and shaker and gets it done, that's for sure.
yeah. Nah, Ben's always been. We had some conversations. He goes, "We don't put that up, put that up, put that up. We don't speak on that." I was just the visuals guy. But you know what? If you weren't the visuals guy, there wouldn't have been anything really that he was out there doing. If that's what I'm saying. I understand. And then yeah, we had that conversation. I do remember that conversation, Ben. Don't worry about it. Not really trying to say you was down like that, but your visuals is what gave him that look. You know what I mean? And so you definitely were a part of what made Shiz what he did at that time. So
Shit, Ben created my logo, the Spittin' with Spitter logo.
there you go. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the whole thing, and I think there's enough talent in this area, and it kind of gets me, um, because I'm on Facebook all the time, be it networking or doing something, but I see all these people with different types of talent, be it from rhyming to singing and everything, but it kind of gets me too, where I'm like, there's all these shows out there, like, why don't you guys go for those shows too? I mean, you never know,
Right.
you know what I mean? Something can happen. And I think people need to start taking advantage of that. The
Yo,
reason why
so
I ended up on MTV was because I actually left the Valley with about $200 in my pocket, a one-way ticket to New York, and my whole mission was to get signed. Seriously, that was my mission. And I ended up on MTV the second day I'm in New York. So it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to take them chances sometimes. If you really believe in what you're doing, you definitely want to make sure you take those chances. I mean, regardless, if you failed, at least you failed knowing that you went for it. That
absolutely.
is more better than the what if that is going to linger in your mind for the rest of your life.
I mean, like, let's be clear. Whatever I do daily, I drop the ball every day. You know what I mean? One way or another, I pick that bitch back up and keep trooping and keep plugging away at whatever goal it is that I'm trying to accomplish. If you quit on yourself, you're gonna be filled with so much resentment towards yourself about like why, like you just said, the what ifs. Why did I do this? You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, there's things that, even me, there's opportunities that were given to me. There's certain reasons why I passed on them. I mean, was it the right decision? Who knows? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But at the same time, number one, it was humbling to be asked to do something. Same time, though, I had to greatly weigh the options. At that time, I became a father, and I was married, and it was just kind of like, you know what, I really wanted, I'm a family man. Like, I gotta look out for my fam. I can't just bounce. You know what I mean? I can't do
Right.
all that. So, that's the whole thing. But I mean, still, I mean, I have a career in music. You know what I'm saying? It's not, and I still do what I do. And do I regret it? No, it's great to see, it's funny how I see other people that talk like kind of down on certain people, and it's just like, yo, I mean, but in a way, let's throw, if you had a kid and a wife in the mix, would you do it differently? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of these dudes that talk, they're just single. And it's like, okay, well then, you don't even, you can't talk about why I didn't choose that. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like at the certain time, like there were certain things going on. You can't just sit there and be like, well, I went with it and blah 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 and blew up. Well, yeah, that's great for you, and I have no problem with you doing it. But don't be,
Right.
you know what I mean? Don't be, taking somebody else down for it. And I think everybody else should understand, like, this is when you go into this industry. Trust me, it's a 24-hour thing, especially now. I mean, if you're on Instagram, that's 24/7, Facebook 24/7, YouTube 24/7.
Facts.
So I mean, it's kind of like it's a non-stop thing now. Like before, because the thing is with the attention span of people right now, you know what I mean? Like that's why all these
Hmm.
people drop so many songs throughout the year. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Before you could drop an album and wait 2 years and come back. You know what I mean? And it's like, I
You
mean,
could,
now it's like you got to drop like 3 albums in a year.
right. You can see even how artists are making their EPs, engaging their albums. They're giving you 5 to 7 tracks at most at a time.
Yeah,
Like you're not getting. I remember like back in the day, you would get 14, 15 songs and then 2 bonus songs or whatever. Like you're not. That's the times have changed. You're not getting that anymore.
and I think that's the reason with music too. I mean, I never thought I didn't think we were gonna go into this route with the music, but on the real, I think that's let me you know what, let me bring this up real quick because I know I saw this and I kind of was like, "Amen." And I know who said it. It was actually Tug who said it.
Mm,
And Tug recently posted up a thing saying, "I miss when rap used to be magic."
right.
And the reason why I say that, the reason why I agree with that completely, and the reason why it is no longer magic, it's because the the whole essence of being astounded by your artist is gone.
Yeah.
Because you never knew, like, trust me, when you bought an album and it was so good, then you waited and you waited until that next album dropped. And when that
Hmm.
next album dropped, it was either going to be dope as shit or it might flop, but there was the anticipation of it. You were like,
Absolutely.
"Oh, I can't wait." You know what I mean? That's gonna be the shit. You know what I mean? Like when Wu-Tang dropped 36 Chambers, everybody was waiting for the second album to drop.
Prime
So
example, like, and not to cut you off, but the other day I was on my way to the gym and I listened to DMX's "It's Dark and Hell Is Hot,"
okay.
and that took me back to that period of my life where I was like, "That's the one. I need more." You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly. So there's a lot of albums out there where it was just kind of like you heard it and you were like, "Oh my god." So that anticipation is what made it magic because
Mhm.
now, and especially for the artists themselves too, they got thrown into like, "Well, yo, I got to top myself now." So it's kind of
Right.
like it made them do even better and better musics. Case in point, like a track called Quest. Every single album, like it was just like they went from like, I mean, you know, Paths and Travels, amazing album, and then it was like Low End Theory, which was straight up East Coast boom bap, the beginning, and then it was like Midnight Marauders, which was
Mhm.
so like solid. And I mean, you
Midnight
got
Marauders set the stage for, I think, for not just Tribe, but a lot of people that were putting out music in that era. Like, you
yeah,
got to really step your game up now.
yep, definitely. And I mean, that was and the same, that the same day that Midnight Marauders dropped was the same day Wu Tang dropped.
Hmm.
I mean, just imagine that day alone, you bought two tapes that were just like phenomenal classics forever. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it's just like that's gone. That's gone.
It
That's
is.
gone. I don't
It
this
is.
whole like I'm dropping an album out of the blue, not telling nobody shit. Uh like it's I don't know, man. I'm not into it. Not into it at all. So but,
There's, there's no rollout anymore.
no, there isn't.
I mean, there's no. We got Ben chiming in. The problem with music is now artists are putting out records without constructing properly. We're living in the now era. It's all about speed now. It's unfortunate, and you're not wrong, Ben.
You're not wrong at all. That's exact, and I think that's the reason why this whole. And I'm sorry, and if I piss somebody off saying this, you know what? That's all on you. But no, on the real, I'm sorry, but you trap producers, you're only making one fucking beat, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and that's all it is. Don't
You,
call yourself producers, yo,
you
because
speed it up, you slow it down.
it's the same fucking. You know what I mean? Like that's not nah. Come on, and that's the reason why all these albums. I mean, if you grab every single trap rapper's album right now or EP, they all sound the same except for a different voice. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So that's the whole issue with that.
And
You
shit,
gotta.
most of them sound the same too.
They all sound the same too, exactly, and it just baffles me how people are like, "Yo, that's my shit." Like, how is that your shit? You just heard the same thing. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, not even like 2 minutes ago. Like the thing you like, let's take a point. Like, now let's take a case in point. Like Gangstar. You know,
Hmm.
Guru passed away. No, we thought that's it. We're not gonna hear Gangstar no more. And then, bam, they drop an album that was whew, amazing. And they
Yeah.
just dropped another single. And
Yeah.
you know, Premiere is announcing it and letting it be known. Like, yo, this is gonna be some hip hop shit. And that to me is now I'm waiting. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna wait that there's another Gangstar album coming out. So that
Right.
anticipation is there. So
I just, and we can go right back to the, and maybe it's just because I'm from a different era, a golden era of MCing.
yeah.
Even like all these trap rappers, they all cadence their flow the same. Like I took pride in myself. Like I'm not necessarily going to rap on the 2 and 4. This verse I'm going to rap on 2 and 4 for 4 bars, then the 1 and 3, and then switch it
Yeah.
back up. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
if I were to say that to a kid these days, they're like, "What? What's the 2 and the 4?"
No, they
You
have no idea. They have no idea. And did you ever see any of the freestyles that are like really terrible with these dudes? That's just so bad. I mean, come on, man. Let me tell you right now. You grab all these guys and throw them in on some free. Like somebody just posted this up this morning. They said if Big Tigger's mic booth was open today, none of these dudes, none of these dudes would
no,
survive it. None of them.
we're from the era where I remember when Jada went in there and melted it down, and Hove and Beans
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And that was when it was just straight up. You knew what they were doing. It's all watered down now. Correct. It is. It's very watered down. And I think that the whole even the people that are on top of the game, quote unquote. I mean, they're even to me sounding a little. I'll be real with you. I always say Drake's a chameleon to me
yeah.
because he switches up styles so much, and he's one of those dudes. Like in the end, like I think how can I say this? But I think the whole thing about an artist being in their own is gone because when you hear a Busta Rhymes, you know it's Busta Rhymes. When you hear a Guru, you know it's Guru. When you hear a Jay, you know it's Jay. When you hear a Nas, you know it's Nas. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
When I hear a Drake, sometimes I'm thinking, well, he just sounded like 21 Savage, or so or he sounded like this dude, or he sounded like this dude. So I was kind of like really thrown off. I was kind of like really thrown off about that.
How do you feel about Drake and his place in hip hop?
He is he's gonna have his place. Um, it's he. I don't know. He's very the whole ghostwriter thing. I don't really care for that, to be honest with you. If you people knew your history about hip hop, there's a lot of songs that were ghostwritten for many people by other people. And trust me, some of your favorite lines come from a ghostwriter.
Hmm.
So that whole ghostwriting thing, whatever. The thing that makes Drake so good is the fact that his delivery and the way he does it, the presentation of him is what kills it. And he does his thing. You know what I mean? And you know, he could go anywhere. I mean, he could sing a song and then he could destroy Meek Mills. And it's like you know what I
Yo,
mean? Like
he's pretty petty as well, because I heard the story of him playing back to back in
okay.
the hotel Meek Mill was at, on repeat the entire night while partying.
Oh, really? Oh man.
That's petty. That's petty.
And then you
Send
know
it.
what? And that's yeah, I'll tell you a real funny story. Remember when Kanye took Kim when Kanye started dating Kim.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so remember Kim's last boyfriend before him was the basketball player
Chris Humphries.
Chris Humphrey. That's right. So my man was DJing. He was DJing at the spot where Chris Humphries was in hanging out, and he throws on the joint where Kanye talks about how he took Kim away from him.
Yeah, that's
My man Neil Jackson, yo. That's a funny story, man. It was in page 6 too. That's the funny shit. But shout out to my man Neil Jackson. That shit was hilarious.
I appreciate Petty though, Cap. Let's not get it twisted.
No, you can't. You got to do it. You got to do
Yeah, absolutely.
it. You know
Like,
that whole thing with rules and shit. There's no rules in. You know what? It's funny to me how that's the only thing with Drake that I wasn't happy about. Like how he said all this shit, took down Meek, right? I mean, he went there. He really went there with Meek. But then when Pusha came at him, all of a sudden it was like, yo, but there's rules. No. Battling, there's no rules, yo.
the difference is Pusha would have fucked around and got Drake touched.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think that's the whole thing. And then when I heard the whole Jay Prince jumping in, and I was like, oh, come on. Stop it already. You know what I mean? Like, you guys should battle like you should battle. You know what I mean? In the end, you know, when KRS and Shan battled, you know what I mean? I mean, that was insane. But they did tours together after that.
Right.
And blew it up and made money. Like, that's where you guys should start waking up. And I think the versus thing is real dope. That, you know, that Tim and them created and stuff. And I think it's dope to hear now, like, you know, how the whole, I mean, that Jeezy Gucci thing. I mean, wow. I mean, for Gucci to even still do that song. And then,
that's ballsy as shit.
Yeah, that was a ballsy move. But Jeezy called him out on it. And they still went and partied later on. And that whole beef now is squashed. So, right. You know, I think for men to step up and definitely take the rings, be like, yo, all right, you know, let's end it. Let's end it now. It's done. It's over. You know what I mean? Before anybody gets hurt.
We got a question from Ben from a DJ's perspective, Cat. What song made Drake who Drake is?
What song made Drake who Drake is?
I got one, but go ahead.
I want to hear yours because I don't know. I
think the Best I Ever Had.
Yes, that's definitely his song.
Probably one of them that rang out to me because it's like he's not rapping. It's not like a ridiculous flow. It's real catchy. He's rapping about girls. The girls love him already from Degrassi. You know. And here we are.
Yeah. Yo, but that new picture they just showed of him, man. What's he doing, bro? What's he doing? What's up with that heart in the hair, man?
The part. Listen, I have first and foremost. I'm not going to talk about anybody's hair. My shit don't even fit in the camera.
But come on, man. Come on, man. That Cat, little heart thing. Come on, man.
If I ever cut this, I will get the heart part for a day.
Sir, I mean, it's one thing to call you out certified lover boy because if you call you out certified lover boy, your album better be hitting. Or they're going to rag you with that title alone. And then you put out that picture with a little heart in your hair and it's all flattened. Woo. Yeah, it's marketing. I understand completely, but I don't know, man.
No, my brother been talking to me about a haircut for a good solid since whenever COVID started.
That's real funny, man. Let me see what else from the DJ's perspective. Oh, that's what he asked. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, what do you think? You think it was Best I Ever Had?
Yeah, I think it's Best I Ever Had. My big thing with hold on. Did you need something? Okay. Sorry, my daughter was asking. I'll see you later. Okay. So you see, that's real life. My daughter comes down here and just tells me what's up.
I got my dog snoring right now at my feet like a fucking grizzly bear.
My thing with Drake, all right, and it's funny because the first time I ever heard Drake, I kind of was like, why does he sound so familiar to me? Like he sounds extremely familiar to me. And now, for all y'all people out there, if I blow your mind, I'm gonna blow your mind right now. But do your research and trust me, somebody that's way above uh, said also this, and it's so true. I'm a huge Little Brother fan, and Little Brother has an MC called Fonte, who probably one of the most illest ever. I mean, if you get any of his albums, trust me, you are getting like therapy 101 because he talks like straight up like he was living your life. And but his flow, I I was like, yo, why is this dude sounding to me like Fonte?
Right.
Then I come to find out that Drake is a huge Little Brother fan and loves Fonte to death. So then what's real funny is a good friend, actually, shout out to my man Angel B. Angel B, huge, he was a huge Drake fan when he came out. Some people even said he looked like Drake. So yeah. But it was funny. I picked him up, driving in the whip, and I'm listening to Foreign Exchange, which is an album that Fonte did with Nicolay. Shout out to Nicolay. And he was like, yo, what's this Drake shit? And I was like, saying Drake, it's Fonte. And Fonte came out before Drake, and then that's when I knew that, and that's when I realized the whole chameleon thing. Because it's like he took Fonte's style, ran with it for the mainstream, blew up, then he started going to everybody else's styles to just to keep up with the times.
I hear him. He even be rapping with the almost the reggae vibe to it.
Oh, he the past couple of, I think the past 3 or 4 hits that he did were straight up dance hallish. So I mean, that's, he'll go where it has to be gone, and I can't take that from him. He'll master it, do it right, and rock it. You know what I mean? You can't knock that. That's also a talent, because there's a lot of people who try to impersonate other people, and it just falls hard. So with him, he knows exactly how to take that and make it his own, and he goes that route and stuff. Now let's get back to the Fonte thing too. Ninth Wonder, probably one of the best producers out there, hands
North
down.
Carolina.
Ninth Wonder said there would be no Drake if it wasn't for Fonte.
Right.
And he made that officially known. And
yeah.
So
that's why I rock with Rhapsody so much, and most people don't even know who she is.
Rhapsody's ridiculous. Rhapsody, first of all, the female MCs out there, all right, and I'm talking about female MCs who spit, all right, not this Meg Thee Stallion bullshit, whatever, but I'm talking about like Rhapsody is ridiculous. Okay, Shay Noir is ridiculous. You know what I mean? There's a couple of girls out there killing it right now.
Rhapsody will smoke a lot of these dudes' boots in a cypher.
God, Rhapsody's phenomenal. She keeps up with them. If you haven't heard her past 2 albums alone, whew,
yes,
fire.
Have you been and not to switch subjects a little bit, but Rhapsody clicked something in my brain. Have you been up on battle rap culture, like the URL, RBE?
Yes, I watch it when I have time.
And what do you think of that as far as hip hop goes?
I don't like it.
No.
And the reason why? The only way you're gonna make me know that you are top of the line freestyle MC is when you throw a beat underneath you and see how you can ride it.
Right.
And still spit off the top of your head. Because that's how we grew up as battle rappers.
If you put a beat on for me right now, I will go around the room and start pointing shit out and rap about it.
Same here. I still rap to this day.
Right.
Same here. But the thing is, I do not like, to me, it looks like it's just like a disc contest in the schoolyard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're just picking on you, coming up with some witty lines that rhyme, and then it's like whatever. Armani Caesar, she's cool. She's cool. For Griselda, she's cool. I'll give her that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
She's
but
not there yet for me.
yeah,
I need to hear more of her
yeah.
before
But
I make the judgment.
Shayna Noir is from Buffalo also, and she messes with them. And Shayna Noir is she messes more with like 38 Special and all them. So
38 Special is dope.
yo, he's dope. Him, freaking. Oh man, I could go on for days about all these underground rappers. That's all I listen to, man. I love them dudes. Flea Lord, shout outs to Flea Lord. Like, yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, people, look them up. Look up Flea Lord. Look up 38 Special. Look up Shay Noir. Look up all of these. These are rappers that I'm listening to. People always ask me, what am I listening to? What are you listening to, Cap? When I speak, they're like, who the fuck are you talking about? Exactly. I still search for my shit. I'm not
Yo,
gonna, I'm not gonna settle for what's on the radio.
I
Nah.
was I was real and I was digging one day and I came across the album and I'm sure you probably heard of it. And it threw me off because the name of the album was like, this is gonna be fucking terrible. Stove God Cooks, Reasonable Drought.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Some funny shit, but yo, they go in. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some dope artists out there, and a lot of people need to know who they are. You know what I mean? And you know who surprised the shit out of me this past year? Freaking Russ. With that EP that he dropped, and they had Premiere, and he had like
Black Thought and Benny.
and he kept up with them, yo. And I was like, wow, okay. But you know what? That's what I'm trying to. Let me tell you something. That's what I'm trying to see Drake do.
Right.
Drake got the power. I mean, it sucks. I don't think there's gonna be any like crazy ill shit on an album called Certified Lover Boy. Maybe I'll be wrong, but you know what? He's the dude who could be like, "Yo, let's do an album full of freaking 16 bars, and let me bring on who I want to bring on." Like he should have done what Russ did.
Yeah.
And then trust
I
me,
agree.
that would change the game completely. Drake could do that, and he could change the game completely.
And bring bars back.
And bring bars back. Drake could do that. I always said that. Drake's the only one who has the power to do that. You know what I mean? Because he can do it.
People talk about like, being signed to a label and stuff like that. And Drake is the machine.
He is.
That pushes that. You know what I mean? Drake, I'm sure he's got an amazing team around him. But Drake, it's not like OVO. It's not like back in the day when Def Jam had a $4 million budget for your album. You know what I mean?
And I think and let's be real. Drake is the only one who could still has that anticipation factor to him.
Yeah.
He hasn't dropped anything in almost 2 years. So he's just, you know what I mean? It's like everybody's waiting. You know he's gonna drop this year. He has to make it this year his year. So he has to do something. So, but I mean, he's definitely the one. Ransom, yes, Ransom's dope.
Ransom put out an EP series this year, and it was fire.
Yeah,
it was absolutely. Ransom could he's been rapping though. Like yeah. Ransom was like, people don't know this, but he was on like the Triangle Offense tapes. You know what I mean? Like he was with Paul Kane and Fab and Joe and Stack.
You know, it's funny to me when somebody hit me up and said, "Yo, remember Camp Blow?" And I was like, "Yeah, I remember Camp Blow. Why?" And I was like, "I just heard their album. I just heard their new album like 3 weeks ago." And they're like, "Wait, what? They still dropping albums?" I'm like, "Dude, they've been dropping albums for like the past like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've been dropping albums. Like they have a catalog and a half of music."
Yeah.
And the recent album they did was with P Rock. That shit is ridiculous. So, I mean, people got to understand some of these rappers have not fallen off. They still doing their thing.
You just have to look.
Yeah, just because it's not talked about in mainstream doesn't mean it's not getting done. And trust me, these guys are still doing it, still dropping hot music. Mm-hmm. And I think, and that's kind of where I'm heading with, what I'm trying to do with my podcast and everything is start educating people on that. Like, let people know, like, there is certain artists out there that, I mean, look, let's take a case in point. Rest in peace to MF Doom. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who, like, he was totally underground.
Right.
But and he never signed a major. I mean, never did. I mean, when he started, yeah, like way back when he was in MF Doom, but he got out of that, went independent, and his whole life, it's all been nothing but underground. And he owns his own masters. He has his own everything, and he has a fan base that is insane. So if you want to talk about somebody's legacy who's going to live on forever, MF Doom is a perfect example of that. And he did not need to go pop or anything to make
And
MF Doom such a name.
same with what's the boy name from Kansas? Tech Nine.
Yeah, oh yeah, Tech Nine. You know Tech Nine? Funny story about Tech Nine. In Allentown, um, when what was it? What was it called? When Pictures was open.
Okay.
All right. So Tech Nine was doing a show at Crocodile Rock, and I don't think anybody showed up really.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his boys were just driving around or whatever, and they landed upon Pictures, and they came into Pictures, and I was DJing. I was DJing a happy hour or whatever, and they came in and stuff and whatever, and I'm standing there like, why does that dude look mad familiar? And I was like, oh, it's Tech Nine. So the funny part though is I didn't have any Tech Nine music. so so they're asking me to play some joints, and I'm like, yo, I told this man, I was like, I'm gonna be real with you, man. I don't really got your man's music. Like, I respect what he does, and I respect
Mm-hmm.
who he is. I just don't got his music because that don't flow around here. And that's when he goes, well, that kind of makes it funny because we were supposed to do a show and we didn't really sell that many tickets, so that's why we're just driving around. So I was like, well, now you know. So then he handed me a CD anyway of
Mm-hmm.
Tech Nines, and then I just played like some of the stuff from there and shit. So, but it was funny because it was just like I had nothing. I had nothing for it.
He's another one with a cult following, though. You know what I mean?
Cult following, huge. Tech Nine is
And
very well known.
and it's not like he's not mainstream at all.
Not mainstream at all. He's revered amongst a lot of people that are mainstream, but
Yeah.
he got that independent hustle in him, and I mean he's been doing it for years. Like, you want to talk about somebody, he's done it for years. Tech Nine's always been doing something. So when Drake knows the formula, he's a different caliber artist. That's why he stays relevant. Yeah, well, like I said, he's a chameleon. Shouldn't have called himself the Scorpion. Should have called himself Chameleon, because that was exactly
For
what
real.
he changes up all the time.
For real. How you feel about like and because you said Tech Nine, you said a lot of high caliber artists. How you feel about Eminem's place in hip hop? Is he going to go down as top 3, one of the greats? What?
Yes, he will. He will be going down there. He will be that, because you know what? Eminem, he's such he's an enigma. He's an enigma because you don't know, like, first of all, like the thing about Eminem is, because my whole thing with Eminem is the fact that I was always mad at him for a reason. And I think the reason was, it was like, you don't need to be dropping all this corny shit. Like, people know who you are. People know you fucking spit. People know you can destroy them. And then I think he woke up to that. He was like, why the hell do I got to drop corny shit? Like, let me now drop what I want to drop.
Right.
And I think that's why his albums ever since then have just been like, I mean, and from an MC's point of view, I love his last couple of albums, because his schemes and his flows and his rhyme style and all the entendres and all that shit he throws in there. I mean, you got to pick that shit apart.
I was just gonna say, it's not an easy listen. Don't
Not
think you're gonna
listen at all.
Don't think you're gonna just listen to it and be able to pick it apart.
Exactly. You literally got to take like almost 4 or 5 times, 6 times, listen to that same song to be like, yo, he literally threw in like 5 bars, he literally threw in what, like, it takes 3 songs for somebody else to do. Like, he knows how to put that whole wordplay together so nasty. Some people talk shit on him about his fast flow. You know what? His fast flow is insane. And if you really slow it down and listen to what he's really saying, he's saying some shit that you're just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, he's up there, man. He's up there.
If you take Rap God, right? And
Yeah.
just read the lyrics as he's rapping, or if you have equipment or you know how to slow music down, slow it down and really listen to him. Like, good lord.
He's nuts. He's nuts. And and music to
Music.
murder by.
Hmm.
I mean, he's dropping shit in there. Even the funny ass song with him and what do you call it? What's this shit? The song with him and Ed Sheeran. That
Yeah.
the Yo, even in there, bro. I'm listening to that and I'm like, holy shit, he's saying some crazy shit in this. So
He,
yeah, no,
he
he'll go down for what he did. He came from a place of I have nothing, and he went everywhere with it, and he stuck to his shit. You know what I mean? He basically made people dig into what he's about, and then I mean, come on now, you want to talk about like the ultimate like finding? I mean, his tape was in a garage of Jimmy Iovine, and Dr. Dre was hanging out with Jimmy Iovine and said, "Yo, let me take this box of tapes." Just imagine if
right,
just imagine if Dre did not pick up that box of tapes. You know what I mean? We might have heard Eminem on some ruckus shit, but we wouldn't have never heard Eminem on some Interscope fucking aftermath shit.
right.
So that's the craziness of it. Like you got to really, and then for M, the legacy that he also is leading is that he put 50 on right after. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mhm.
50 was already in his own lane.
He was buzzing with Power of a Dollar in New York.
Yeah,
Let's be clear.
he was. But I mean, to make it to there would be no In the Club if it wasn't for Envy and the Dre. Yo, we need to sign this dude.
Right.
And there'd be no In the Club. And In the Club to this day is a staple in an anthem. So
Hmm. If
that's the
you
greatness of it.
if you're in a club and you're spinning, what are the top 5 anthems that you're playing?
In my opinion, Hypnotize, In the Club, uh shit, Biggie almost gets it all because let's go from a hip hop perspective.
Right.
So you got Hypnotize. What did I say before? Shit, I just
In
dropped
the club.
In the Club. Uh More Money, More Problems. Party Up in Here. And wow.
My brother just chimed in and said, "What happened to 15 minutes?" Because I told him we was only gonna be on for a couple minutes. I don't know if that's capable, big bro, with
No,
me and Cap C.
it's not. You can't play Who Shot You in the Club.
No, people get shot to Who Shot You in the Club, Ben. Stop it.
I'll tell you the 5 songs that get people shot in the club.
Go ahead. Because I got 5 too that I've been DJing and I wasn't allowed to play these songs anymore.
Hold on. I got number 5 for the club. Um, what do you call it? Yin Yang Twins.
Whisper.
No, not Whisper.
Shake it like a salt shaker.
No. God, you're saying them all except for the one. I can't think of the skeet, 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 skeet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wasn't that a Little John though?
No, that was Yin Yang.
No.
Lil John
Well,
was in the song and he made the beat,
yeah,
obviously. But
right.
yeah, no, that was Yin Yang. That was Yin Yang Twins.
Top 5 songs that will tear the club up.
Annie Up.
That's one of them for me.
Immediately. Annie Up. Super Thug.
2 for me.
Fucking DMX. Stop, Drop. Rough Riders Anthem. Wild Out by Locks.
You're 4 for 4 with me right now, Pat.
And oh my god. What was the song? I was like, don't play that shit. Oh my god, I can't even think of it right now. That's definitely 4 of them. And there's still a ton more. What's your 5th?
You said Annie Up, you said Wild Out, you said Rough Rider Anthem,
Super Thug.
Super Thug. Oh man.
Oh, fucking Little John.
And Youngbloods, damn.
Dan was crazy. Dan was crazy. No, but what's the other one? What you gonna do? Why? What you gonna do? Oh no, and B.I.B. Any Little John song when he was on. If
I
you
will also drop Bone Crusher, Never
Bone
Scared.
Crusher, yeah, Never Scared. When you heard B.I.B., yo, that was like insanity. Insanity.
The club's about to close. You're about to play one last song. What is it?
Oh my God. I'm an old school dude, so I always used to drop some shit for the ladies,
Mm-hmm.
dudes. So it'd always be something like, that's tough because there's a million songs you could play, and it always depends on like what was hot as an old school jam or something at
Mm-hmm.
that time. So you kind of were just like, I'm gonna throw that on right now for the ladies to, because gentlemen, this is what you got to understand about the club. You got 4 hours. Your game better be on point. And by
If
the end
you
of
have
the night,
not made it work by 3 hours and 57 minutes, the
yes,
last song's not going to do it, Chief.
the last song ain't gonna help you. So that's what it comes down to, man. I've had dudes say, "Yo, Cap, I'm gonna call my kids after you." Like, like, no, don't do that.
I remember when my kids first met you, that was 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long
Wearing
time.
B104 shirts
Yeah, that's
up
right.
at home base.
That's right. Anything.
Yo, somebody take Ben's phone right now. This is a public service announcement. Ben out here wilding.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm telling you, man. There was I mean, it really depended. You know what I loved? My joint was I used to throw it at the end. Was Montel Jordan, Get It On Tonight. That shit was flavor. That joint was.
It depends. Like you said, and I'll agree and say it depends on how the night went.
Yeah.
It depends on the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, I've dropped Aknell as the last song.
Which one? Put it in your mouth?
Yes. Yes. For the love of God, I'm sorry. I've dropped Notorious B.I.G. Big Papa. You know what I mean?
Big Papa I've done at the end. Yes, I've done Big Papa at the end. You know, my whole scheme was always start light, go crazy, and then go back down again.
Right.
And I'll be real with you. That's what I loved about early down south music.
Mm-hmm.
Because you made that transition from all that high energy shit, and then you could still go down in BPM, but that shit still got you riled up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, that's what I loved about the old down south shit.
Right,
you know
right.
What I mean? Like that was like Luda and all them dudes like Little John and all them and shit. That was my shit. So
Eddie Nash said my phone crashed. There's too much hip hop talk going on. So who was the second choice I gave you with Luda the other day? Because I'm about to pick your brain on this. What was it? Luda and T.I.? Did I say?
No, it wasn't. It was. I don't know. No, you paired T.I. No, you said Luda and Andre 3000, and you went.
Yes. 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 Why?
Why? Okay.
Yeah.
So Andre 3000. He's first of all, I think that's a very like not similar type of flow. I think they're very different apart.
Two different people from Atlanta.
What I love about Luda, and what has been proven to me about Luda, is that he is somebody that people I think kind of sleep on because of just like because of what who he is and stuff. But if he's another one, if you really take apart what he says, he goes in. Like he'll even tell you straight up. Like I loved his
Cat.
I love this whole thing. My bad. I love this whole thing. You're lucky it rang just once. I'll put it on. But my thing with Luda is that if he goes in, I love when he was on when he was talking shit on Khaled on All You Do Is Win. He goes on and now that they put me on now I'm on the original, whatever, all because he's ill. Like he's an ill dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't really take away from him. And to me, he can ride the beat. He conforms to it and everything. My problem with Andre is the fact that I am not going to take away from Andre the fact that he is an amazing, amazing lyricist.
Right.
But I think he just kind of just went a different route, and it was kind of like that's it. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's kind of like, and then Luda still continued what he did. He still does, shit. And some recent stuff I heard from him, I was very impressed. So I kind of was like, I'm gonna keep Luda on that for that.
Ludacris can rap though. Let's be clear.
He can rhyme. He can rhyme. He shout outs to Luda. He came to I DJ'd Marco Andretti's wedding, and Luda is really good friends with him, and he came through. He was actually Ludacris was in Nazareth, PA, for a wedding. So I'm just gonna give you guys that. And so it was just crazy.
Where does Outkast rank with you in groups?
They're up there, but to me, I'm an old head.
Right.
So like they're underneath EPMD, they're underneath, Gangstar, they're underneath, I mean, that's for, let's just say they're a two-man group. So
right.
There's always the two. So they're up there. I mean, I would say they're third or fourth. Because EPMD and what do you call it? And Gangstar to me, I mean,
yeah, that's apples to oranges.
Yeah, you can't really top that. Like, and but Outkast, the thing about Outkast though is that they have to be known as that they made the South more so accessible, and they brought that sound to us.
Yeah.
Because remember, there was down south rappers already out, but they sounded too much like East Coast people.
Right.
So they were the first ones to actually drop like down, like, or shout outs to Organized Noise, probably the most ridiculous trio of producers. And hey, Organized Noise made Waterfalls. So I mean, you want to talk about even the range that they got,
Go chasing waterfalls.
I mean, look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like
right there.
You know what I mean? Like Organized Noise is very out there, man. But and yeah, you know what? That's funny, Eddie. I mean, that's exactly what happened. During that whole East Coast West Coast beef, they were right in the middle. And when that Source Award shit happened, as much as nobody was paying attention, Andre said it right then and there. The South got something to say. Mm-hmm. And then, bam, that was it. I
rock Outkast to this day.
Yes, I do. To me, and now this is when we get a little controversial, Atlians is my favorite album from them all, from their whole shit. Atlians is my favorite album out of their whole catalog.
Is that the one with elevators on it? Pardon my brain. Oh yeah, no question. That's no question. That's got that Jazzy Bell, Wheels of Steel.
Yes.
Like
Aliens is their low end theory. So that's kind of where I leave it at. Aliens was dope. Did you know that the Outkast and Tribe were supposed to do an album together?
I did not.
Yes, so it was going to be Phife, Q-Tip, and Andre were paired up, and Phife and Big Boy were paired up. And they were going to do like a sort of album where they all did songs like that.
That would have been fire.
Yeah.
Fire. So, now Andre 3000's walking around the city with a skirt on playing the flute. I'm not mad at it.
He's
mad at it.
But you see, that's Andre for you. Like I don't find that.
It shouldn't be shocking to anybody.
It shouldn't be shocking to nobody. Yeah. If he's walking in the Starbucks playing a flute, let him do it. That's him. That's his style. Always been that dude.
How do you feel about, and I'm going to keep with the controversial shit, how do you feel about Young Thug on Wallow and Gilly's podcast saying Jay-Z doesn't have 30 hits to go with him at a verse?
Why are we going here?
I just need your opinion, even though it's not your opinion, but even though I know what Young Thug said.
Like
shit.
I only know one Young Thug song.
What's that? because
It's uh,
I
it was
don't
the
know it.
first one he came out with. I can't even remember the title. Oh, the oh my god, what the hell was it called? I can't even think of it. Oh, the Danny Glover joint.
Right. Okay.
That's all I know.
Right.
After that,
Yeah.
he rhymed on freaking Camila Cabello. That's all I know. Or and the T.I. joint. So there's 3 joints. That's 3 joints I know. The joint with T.I., the joint with Camila Cabello, and Danny Glover. That's all I know about Young Thug. And you're gonna tell me, you're gonna like call Jay out? Are you kidding me? And then here's the other thing. Here's the other funny part about that whole thing. Let's not even talk about Jay. He wants to take Wayne on verses. What?
Wayne could smoke him just on his features that he had from 05 to 09.
Exactly. And I don't know what I don't know what shows he goes to where he says, nobody's talking to, these rappers and stuff. Nobody's, repeating their words and going off with them and shit. I'm like, whose shows do you go to?
Right.
Because I've been to Jay-Z shows and everybody's going word for word with him. I've been to a Lil Wayne concert. People are going word for word with him. I've been to Wiz Khalifa. I've been to, you name it. I've been there. And
hold on a second, Ben. And this is how I know you ain't watched the last interview with me and Capsy. Go tune in to 2M1L Media right now, YouTube channel, and you can see the first part of this show where we talked Griselda heavy.
Oh, yeah, Griselda. Come on, man. Come on, man. If you weren't up on the steroid shit, then those mixtapes were crazy.
Rap on steroids. And didn't Green Lantern do those?
I think Green Lantern, some of them. I know Green Lantern definitely did Benny's first mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
I got Benny's like first singles and shit. So, but yeah, I mean, that's Griselda's just another topic, man, within itself. So I apologize. So yeah, man. But yeah, I don't know, man. This guy's nuts. You can't. First of all, there's only a few, and that's a very, very thin few that can say anything about Jay.
Who can say anything about Jay? I'll wait.
I mean, people that like, I'll be real with you. If you want to go catalog for catalog, and you really think about it, there's Wayne, there's Drake, and then it's like, and then if you want to go for an old school catalog, I mean, you got to really dig for it. But I mean, people like Young Thug, like, come on, man. And then like this dude, Little Pump, talking shit on M, like your man, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
I don't rock with any of the littles.
Except Wayne.
Except Wayne. Nah, you know what though? I'm not gonna lie. My daughter put me up on the Little Peep before he passed. And he got some joints that I rock with. I'm not gonna lie. But that's the only 2 littles that I rock with. Pause.
Okay. So I mean, but yeah, and then this dude talking shit on M. Like, come on, man. Come on. Was that dude Little Xanax or whatever? Little Xan or whatever?
I don't know.
Saying that he's like Tupac. Like, I fucking care. Like, yo.
Who can match up with LL Cool J in the verses?
Who could match up with LL? LL could come out. LL's catalog from 86 all the way up to 90. Yeah, 97, 98.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a very good catalog. But there's people out there. Like when Busta, there was 2 people that I was like, when Busta, first of all, when Busta called out T.I., I think that was kind of stupid on his part. Yeah. That's not even relevant. Busta should have definitely gone for like I said, I was like, I think Redman would be perfect to go against Busta.
They could do the goodness together.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing for Red.
Mm-hmm.
Red would have got a boost on his shit too. And then LL would have been the second one that I would have said that could go with Busta. But for right? You know, everybody right now is praying for the Rakim versus Kane
I don't
versus,
think it's gonna happen.
and it's not gonna happen. And if that's I know Kane's down to do a versus, so I probably would say LL and Kane would be real dope.
That'd be fire.
That'd be real fire, and it would just be on some real like not that would be on some straight up like hip hop culture shit.
You would have every hip hop head ever tuning into that one.
And don't forget, all the women will tune in just because LL.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
and you gotta understand. I always tell people like LL should not be slept on lists. Like there's people that you know LL like tore up some people, and he did his thing. Like LL was nasty back in the day. Like don't front. Like LL was real ill. You know what I mean? I got his jacket. That's his jacket. You see that? See the Fat Albert back there with the goat?
There it is.
That's LL's jacket. LL Cool J gave me that jacket on TRL on MTV. I did a freestyle about his history, right live, right then and there. Freaking A1 on the beatbox, and I was freestyling, and bam, he goes, "Yo, this
Yo,
is."
if A1 doesn't come on this show, it's like the Candyman effect. We done said his name so many times. Redman doesn't get enough credit. He damn sure doesn't.
Redman, because you know what? Redman got overshadowed by Meth on the rip. He did. He got overshadowed by Meth. But
unless you're from Jersey.
Yeah, unless you're from Jersey. Because Redman reps Jersey hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Redman is so I mean, I'll be honest with you. His Redman dropped an Mudface. If you never picked up Mudface by Redman, that album was sick. He still, and then his last EP was dope as shit too. He had like 4 tracks on there that were nasty. Was it the song Black Man in America? Woo-hoo. That shit was
like the 4 joints or something.
I
forget what he named it.
Yeah, no, it was called 3 Joints.
3 Joints.
3 Joints, and the one was to slap the shit out of you. I was like, that's hilarious. That's Redman. Redman will always be Redman. I love that he never switches up. I love seeing his interviews because he's so down to earth. Do you ever see the Breakfast Club interview with him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that shit is hilarious because they were like picking on him because he had his like weed in a fucking like plastic bag. Like they're like, "Yo, man, get a book bag or something." And shit. He's like, "Nah, man." He had a fucking thank you plastic bag, like carrying his shit in. I was like, "Yo," but that's being real. That's him.
That's Redman.
That's real. That's Redman. You can't, you know what I mean? The best MTV Cribs, hands down. You know, ever, hands down.
Homeboy was sleeping on the floor.
His homie was sleeping on. That was real. That was his homie. Trashed, knocked out. Like he had no time to pick him up.
No doorbell.
No doorbell. No nothing. You know, and he said he still got that spot. He still got that spot. That's funny.
People say, you know, I don't know if it's a Jersey thing or what, but people sleep on Tretch too, and Tretch is a monster.
Yo, Tretch has gotten so much light right now from M because M is a huge Tretch fan.
Mm-hmm.
And Tretch has been like getting like the freaking press beautifully because of that. But you're right.
1993?
No. The album before that, the one that had OBP and everything on it.
Man, word.
I think it was just self-titled album.
Naughty by Nature.
Yo, that album. I mean, he's not only yoked the Joker, which that shit was so ill. Guard Your Grill. I mean, come on, man. Guard Your Grill, knuckle up, put him up. You know, like that shit. Wickedest Man Alive. You know what I mean? I'm not even talking about the hits.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about like the B-sides, and those shits are flavor. Those shits are fire.
Facts.
Yeah, Tretch was definitely there's a lot of rappers out there who don't get the shine. It's probably because they never got to that point. I mean, Naughty definitely got to that point, but Naughty by Nature was such like a good ass fucking name that it was just Naughty by Nature everywhere you went. You know what I mean? You never thought of Tretch by himself.
Right.
It was always Naughty by Nature, Naughty by Nature. So,
and I still rock I forget the song that they had, that Everything's Gonna Be All Right.
Yeah, that's on that album too. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That was my shit for a long time.
Oh yeah, that song is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy hardcore. Naughty 3, you can't diss Naughty 3 either. I mean, Hip Hop Hooray, It's On, you know what I mean? I mean, there was tracks on there that you were just like, damn. And I mean that's, I'm gonna say this right now. Jersey should get a ton of credit for exactly what they've done for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, especially Brick C. If you really rate down a list of who came out of Jersey, I mean, we could start with Queen Latifah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We could start with, you could start with Queen Latifah, go to, and then she, Naughty by Nature, Redman, Lords of the Underground,
Mm-hmm.
Outsiders, the Fugees. I mean, you talking about the caliber of MCs that came out of Jersey is insane. Milkbone, I'll give Milkbone that. Like, you know what I mean? Like them dudes, like Jersey. I'm not talking about Whitney Houston. Come on, Eddie.
See, this is the problem. This is the problem when people is on here with their phones and they just free typing. We are talking about rappers, one man bandit.
But yo, for real, man, like there's a lot of Jersey really, really. I mean, come on, yo. If it wasn't for Redman, Def Jam almost went belly up, and they admit that. Def Jam says if it wasn't for Redman, we would have been done. Like, and Redman saved them. So that's Jersey right there. You know what I mean? Apache, rest in peace. I mean, you name it. That whole Flavor Unit squad was practically Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sugar Hill Records was Jersey. Y'all don't really, we really go back into it. You know what I mean? Sylvia Robinson, straight up Jersey. She was grimy as fuck, but she was in Jersey. So
Who, and I just want to hold on. I'm a Button fan. I apologize in advance.
okay.
Joe Button is my favorite rapper.
Is Joe Budden your favorite rapper?
Joe Button's my favorite rapper.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, so I honestly, Budden is a dude I lost a lot of respect for,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's because of just his. Like, I understand mood music to a lot of people is like the fucking legacy he'll always leave behind.
Right.
Like, mood music is hands down his fucking masterpieces, but I think Budden just overshadowed himself with the nonsense and trying to be this other thing, which is fine. Like, I understand you got to get your cheddar at some point. You got to do something if the music ain't going right. One of the first dudes to do that Love and Hip Hop shit. And, to me, it was just weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I lost respect for him from that on because it was just like he got to be known as this dude who was like, yo, whatever I say now is law. And it's like,
Right.
and it was like, dude, you need to really chill a little bit because
Bring it down a notch, big
bring
fella.
it down a notch because you ain't that dude. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how Gilly's coming after him right now. So
Gilly don't give a shit.
yo, Gilly's a funny dude, man. But I laughed at that whole shit when Gilly called him out about how he was crying when Raekwon
Mm-hmm.
slapped the shit out of him. And but then his man was like, yo, but when these dudes stepped up to you, I was like, oh my god, yo. Too funny, man. All these people are hilarious.
If we're making a versus, right? Who do you have competing against Fat Joe?
Competing against Fat Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a good question.
Did I stump Cap C?
See, because Fat Joe was in all decades. That's why.
Yes. Eddie Nash is gonna chime in right now and say Janet Jackson.
That's a good question. I would not. I don't know who. I personally don't know who. The only person I could think that just maybe just that close would probably maybe be 50. And just because 50 has, let's just say this, 50 has two, I would say 50 actually, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got Get Rich or Die Trying, you got The Massacre, so you got there's all your pop hits, but then it's mixtape shit,
Yeah.
which people to this day will quote word for word.
Right.
So that's where his underground shit, his mixtape underground shit, could go against Joe's catalog of old school like underground shit.
Digging in the crate shit.
Yeah.
How do
So
you feel about that comment? I respect Fat Joe because he took the torch after Pun passed.
I mean, I don't know. You know, here's my thing with dead rappers. All right. Yo, this supposed to be 15 minutes. We're an hour after already. Oh man. Here's my thing with dead rappers. To call them the greatest, it's kind of a little too much.
Right.
I don't think Biggie was the greatest rapper of all time.
You better hush your mouth.
You can't really say that.
Hush your mouth.
You can't say it.
I mean, yeah.
You can't say it.
I understand what you're doing.
You can't say it because he only had 2 albums out, a couple of singles. That was it. And
Right.
if you heard the other albums that got dropped, it was just recycled material.
Right.
So it wasn't like that's where Tupac has him beat. Because Tupac and I'm not a Tupac fan, so I'm not gonna stick up here saying
I'm looking for answers at this point.
But you know, when all that shit came out, all the Tupac joints came out. I mean, those were all different songs, so you knew
Right.
that Tupac was definitely heavy into the recording more than Biggie was. Biggie was a chess player, though. Biggie knew, like, Biggie was that dude who, like, played in the cut. He wasn't going to be in the studio, like, every single day making music. Like, and I think Pac, the reason why Pac was doing it was just to get out of his contract. He just wanted to get out. So there was a reason for him to do what he did. I mean, who knows where Biggie would have been? Who knows where Jay-Z would have been if Biggie was alive?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of what ifs when it comes to Biggie and even Tupac. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of like, would Ja Rule pop off his mouth if Pac was around?
Probably not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of dudes popped off their mouths the way they did if Pac was around. You know what I'm saying? Because Pac was the ultimate fucking, pop talk. Like he just said it. He didn't give a shit. You know, he'll act now, consequences later. That was Pac.
Yeah, and he was real non-filtered about anything.
Very non-filtered. So you got to give it to that on that point. So I mean, that's the whole thing. Pun. I mean, who would think where Pun would be? You know what I'm saying? Like Pun was the dude that literally was like great. 2 good albums. Capital Punishment's classic forever.
Mm-hmm.
And in that album alone, he showcased that he can do everything.
Right.
Would have Pun been dope with reggaeton? I think he would have definitely taken over that lane.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think Oy Mi Canto wouldn't have been with Nori. I think it would have been with Pun.
Exactly.
On some real shit.
And Nori killed that shit though.
And yeah, Nori did his thing too. But I mean, I'm telling you right now, that would have been Pun's lane. Pun would have done the reggaeton in a heartbeat. And that would have been like his pop shit. And then he still would have spit the hard shit.
Right.
So, and that's what was dope about Pun. He took in that album alone. Like, come on, man. When you heard Beware, that was it. Like when you heard that shit drop, that was it. And you knew you're an adventure right there.
100% should have gave everybody an idea of where Pun could have went with the reggae.
Exactly. 100% right there. Then and there. That song alone, you knew if reggaeton came out just around that time, he would have been the dude.
I'll still drop 100%. Don't get it confused.
I drop 100% too. Yeah, no question asked. That's a great song. But yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, Fat Joe had to do what he had to do. There's a lot of gray in that fucking shit. You know what I mean? Because you hear it from Pun's family. Chris don't hold back.
She hate She hates Fat Joe.
She hates Joe. And Chris don't hold back. Chris Rivers does not hold
Yeah.
back.
He's a monster too, quiet as kept. He can
Oh,
rap.
Lord. The problem with Chris right now, he needs to find producers.
Right.
You know, I don't know what it is about fucking dope lyricists and bullshit beats, but that's the truth. Cannabis, but you know.
How do you think about and this is merely because beat selection, because you said, how do you feel about Jada's last body of work and Nas's last body of work? Because these are two guys that have been critically acclaimed for not being able to pick beats.
Well, Nas finally let somebody, I think, do it for him for this last album. And I think I think well, first of all, it was him, and I think Nas did something. First of all, let's just say this. Nas Illmatic is responsible for multiple producers on an album.
Right.
Because nobody ever did that. Maybe you had two producers tops on an album. That was it. But mostly it was spearheaded by one. The problem with from Illmatic on, as you could tell, he had the squad of fucking producers, and everybody was like, that's the formula to go with from here on out. And you had that whole mixture. I think what was dope about his latest album was that he got Hit Boy. And Hit Boy, let me tell you something. Where the hell, Hit Boy to me, I'm like, dude, what have you been doing? Like, because
Where'd you come from?
Where'd you come from? So, I mean, Hit Boy definitely put the time in. I'm a half a mil fan. So if you never heard the half a mil joints, like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, now, do you know what I'm talking about with half a mil? You know what I'm talking about?
You're not talking about the artist.
No.
No,
I'm talking about Hit Boy and Dude from LA.
Right.
Those collaborations are ridiculous. And you know what I mean? So I mean that's my take on that. Jada's album was cool. I think Jada's album was pretty dope. I think the Lox album is way better.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that Lox album was insanity.
Even the reggae joint that's on there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Go.
That Lox album is crazy. So and for all y'all that didn't know Lox had an album out, now you know that Lox had an album out this past year. So, but I'll be real with you. Jada, I mean, I'm not going to take nothing away from Jada, but I think Styles P has stepped up more in the past couple of years.
No question. He's a workhorse too.
Yes, Styles P is straight up. He's been doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Real. I mean, his last couple of mixtapes were nasty. Like, I was like, wow, okay. Styles can definitely get it in. Like, he's dope. He's real dope.
Jim Jones has been working too. What do you think about his evolution?
I interviewed Jim years ago. He's a different character to me. He's pretty funny. He's a funny dude. I never took him to be an artist. He's like,
he was a shooter.
Yeah, he was always in the same lane as, like, he was always like, I don't know, like, I never, because, you know, the top two in that crew was Cameron and Jules. Mm-hmm. And Joel. So you kind of were like, he was always the background dude. And then he just, like, he did, like, the Diddy move. You know what I mean? Like, all right, well, now I got to step up to keep this shit going. You know what I'm saying? And you can't take away, Jim had hits. I mean, We Fly High to this day, probably a big-ass anthem. So I mean, Jones could definitely do his thing. You know, I don't know. I still want to see a Dipset reunion, like a full Dipset reunion again. I think that would be kind of dope.
Yeah.
The song they did with what song was it? The song they did with Just Blaze, I think it was like 4 years ago. That shit was insane. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, there's Dipset could definitely do some shit. You know, obviously there's the whole Max B shit, and there's just a lot of controversy with all of them together. But I think all these rappers right now, you know what? All of y'all need to just put the beef away, kill it. Because if you guys all put your minds together and realize that if you do something together, you're gonna make some cheddar, and it's good for the culture too.
Absolutely.
Just stop all that
Absolutely.
shit. The beef needs to get done. Let these little youngins do their fucking little beefs. We're old enough to be like, we're done with that shit. We all got money. We're all doing our thing now. So
Right. Hey, listen, we're gonna get out of here only because this 15-minute interview turned into an hour and 25. And it wasn't even an interview, it was a conference. It was like, Cap, you wanna hop on? Pause.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
here we are.
I'm missing my game.
Fuck your game, Cap.
Yeah, you see that team? See that team? Yeah. That's right. Right there. We taking it.
For all y'all that tuned in today, the reason why me and Cap came on,
Yeah.
two things. We have the first part of this interview on YouTube on 2M1L Media. You can
Yes.
go check that out. It's a real fire conversation. Secondly, at the end of that show, we came up with the idea to where we're going to start hosting rappers, musicians, any type of talent. If you want to come on this stage and get critiqued about the product that you're supplying, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, definitely. And it's for anybody, even people who are checking this out. If you have any type of artist or anybody, hit us up on, be it Facebook. I'll give my email gladly, capc@gmail.com. As you can tell the spelling right there, CAPCEE@gmail.com. What we want to do is just basically showcase you artists out there and let people know what you guys are up to. It'll be on YouTube. We'll do it even on Facebook Live all together as a broadcast. Let's just give us some time here to make sure we come up with a title for the show itself. And then, the thing is, it won't fall on deaf ears. You'll definitely have critique. You'll also have certain other judges that'll be listening, producers, things like that and everything. That'll definitely give you their point of view of what, and also give you lessons. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people don't even know how to get into this business. So
Right.
you're definitely going to hear it from a lot of people, like how to get into it. So.
Man, listen, if you tuned in today, we just happy to be here. There was a lot of jewels dropped today. Part 1, part 2, and part 3 is probably gonna be right around the corner because every time me and you sit down to talk,
I told you, I got stories for days, homie.
it could just be a normal conversation, and here we are.
But that's what's up, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. First of all, I want to give a big shout out. Once again, rest in peace to MF Doom. He passed away. I did a tribute mix to him and got 1,000 views in 3 days on YouTube. So thank you to everyone who tuned in and saw that. I was kind of humbled by that too, because I was like, wow, I didn't even think to even do anything like that. It was a last minute thing for me. So, and you know what, Jason, you just brought to me what we're going to call the show. Back in the day, when I was looking at Banana Joe's, I did a thing called The Platform, where I used to bring on MCs and they did their thing. So that's what we're going to call it, The Platform.
The Platform.
There you go.
I love it. Look at that, Jay. Now you get some royalties and shit.
There you go. Ben, get on the fucking logo. But yeah, let's do that. I'm down. We'll talk more about it. We'll get into it, and we'll go from there. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Yo, Spit, man. This is great, man. I'm glad that we got this going, and it keeps me motivated and everything to keep going on. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm just happy to be here, man. You can find me at Spittin with Spitter on anything, IG, Facebook, whatever. I'm there. Spittin with Spitter, Cap C. You already know the vibes, man. It's Sunday afternoon. He's missing his bum ass Bucks.
Yo, you still got a chance to be in it. I don't know. Yeah, right. Nah.
Don't play with my emotions, Cap. We out of here, man. I hope y'all have a great show. And we gone.
All right.
Peace, homie.